program is proudly brought to you by Daytech PNG Limited. In tonight's session of Infocus, we delve into the impactful work of the Papua New Guinea Tribal Foundation, an organization dedicated to addressing critical issues such as gender-based violence and promoting community leadership. We speak to Philly Julie Morai, Senisim PNG National Coordinator, and GT Buston, President of the PNG Tribal Foundation. GT Buston and Philly Julie Morai, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Now, firstly, GT, can you tell us about the mission of the Papua New Guinea Tribal Foundation?
Yeah, mipla one bla Papua New Guinea NGO. Na mipla sai luksave long leadership development. Senesim PNG program blo mipla. Number 2 mipla sai luksave lo gender-based violence na SARV. Senesim passen program blo mipla. Now, number 3, mi plasay luksave lang all special medical projects. So I am 3 pla work blo Tribal Foundation.
Even got one specific case that me inspiring foundation law work against him gender-based violence now socially accusation related violence law Papua New Guinea.
Time mi liglig mangi mi come up lo Southern Highlands. Na mi pla stop lo bush straight na ino disla something. Behind mi pla go lo lay na time lo fortnight all man side drink na spark paiti Mary. Na time iliglik mangi also karim planti merikam all man bin paiti mem na mama blomi and one plan nurse and ba so mapi mol na mi look na mi look osem this la something and mi no go through na you know custom blow you me so mi plus start lo work lo this la long bla time now but this la em kirapim ting blomi time iliglik mangi.
Now Philly, could you explain the Senisim PNG initiative and its primary objectives?
Thank you, Malcolm. So the Senisim PNG program is a leadership development program, which is our national transformation movement that is happening in the country. And it's all focused on good values and servant leadership. It's through the Senisim PNG program that we partnered with the John Maxwell Leadership Foundation and launched the national movement called Senisim PNG in 2022. And it's been like 4 years in this journey of spreading good values and servant leadership across the country.
Now, GT, what would you say are some of the major objectives of the foundation that it has achieved in Papua New Guinea so far?
I think the big thing is, you think about how our country is the way we expect it to be. If we have higher expectations, then we'll improve the country. And so the idea behind Senisim PNG is that we have people go through individual values training in small groups of 6 to 10 for 11 weeks. And when they're done with that training, it lifts their own expectations of themselves and of the country. And so Senisim PNG is about getting as many Papua New Guineans through that program as possible and to help rise the tide of our collective thinking on what matters in the country, which is good values and servant leadership. We think those are the 2 main problems that we have across the country. Everything else could be fixed if we had good values, return to our values, and if we have servant leaders who are putting people first rather than themselves.
What would you say were some of the major achievements in recent months?
Well, we've had some great achievements across since the launch of 2022. We've had thousands of Papua New Guineans across the country who have gone through the Senisim PNG program, and it's only gaining more momentum throughout society. We've also signed an agreement with the Department of Education to get 5 different curriculums on values in the schools in Papua New Guinea from early learning clear to grade 12. And we're introducing the 3rd curriculum this year. So we've been running through pilot schools in Port Moresby, and now it's starting to spread out through schools across the country.
Okay. Are there some upcoming projects or initiatives that the foundation will be embarking on?
We have our Live to Lead project that will just have happened. And that's our 3rd annual Live to Lead project. The Tribal Foundation works with corporations, with government departments, and with individuals on leadership development. And we're also just launching our program for corporation for leadership training and government departments. So that's coming up, and that'll be ongoing and be part of the Senisim PNG program.
Now, GT, what role does the Senesim Passing campaign play in changing societal attitudes towards women in Papua New Guinea?
Mipla as place. So Mipla kam lo ting lo side lo Mipla lo Papua New Guinea long this la heavy. So lo Papua New Guinea Mipla sabe good lo appreciation and big plus something lo culture lo Mipla. So long Senesim Passing Mipla sai talk gender appreciation. Mary appreciate the man, na man appreciate the Mary. So Mipla sai look lo 2 plus side lo this la. Na the time Mipla karem this pla picture lo Mipla go na around lo country. Mipla sa go long community na picture all geta lo talk pisin. Na number 1 picture all been producing lo Papua New Guinea, all man na Mary sai look him lo Papua New Guinea. Mipla run lo 10 play year now. Na name lo this la picture Senesim Passing. But they got big program one time. So message blow display mosem you need lo appreciate him man blow you. Na man blow you need lo appreciate him you. So you two pla hold him hand na you pla walk, sit down good, na life blow you pla by go on top. You cross fight, make him heavy, spark, na fight, kind of sem, you pla bakarap in life blow you pla yet. So display a message blow Senesim Passing.
To add on into societal change in our community towards women and children, you know, this is not our behavior and this is not our attitude in the country, and a way forward of Senesim Passing is to change the mindset of our people, especially our husbands and our mothers and our children, our aunties, our boo-boos. And it is through Senesim Passing and Senesim PNG working collaboratively together to ensure that there is mindset transformation happening in individuals' life. To end violence, we cannot end violence. It's a cycle on its own, and to minimize violence is to have mindset transformation, and that's through the Senesim PNG program, where we talk about the good values and servant leadership, and of course Senesim Passing is to appreciate men and women doing both roles together, bringing harmony into families and communities.
It's good you mentioned good values. I'm curious to get your thoughts on how significant leadership development is for the Tribal Foundation.
In terms of good values, you know, we believe in the quote of John C. Maxwell that everything rises and falls on leadership. And the type of leadership that we see in our country today, everyone has their own perspective on what leadership is all about. You know, for me personally, I believe that leadership is people with good intentions and good values. And when you start having these good values, you start making good decisions and good choices for yourself. And you lead by serving other people. So that's what the good values that we have been embarking on this journey, spreading across the country, is to really help the mindset of our people to start thinking differently and shifting their mindset to be more positive in life and to be more hopeful in life. And of course, the values itself, it has been part of our society, has been part of our families that we've been passing down from generation to generation. And it's a simple values like hope, integrity, humility, responsibilities. And most of the time we tend to ignore, or we tend to just let it slide aside. But think about it that in order for you to start making a difference in this country and your family, you need to start living by good values every day of your life to guide your decision and actions. And then you don't have to blame others for what they have done for you, but you have to blame yourself, because when you talk about change as well, transformation starts within you. Like, you need to start changing yourself first before you start going out and changing other people. And that's the mission and vision of Senesim PNG and Senesim Passing, and the whole work that we're doing within Tribal Foundation is to help our people, build our people, because people building is nation building. Yeah.
Now, GT, how does the foundation incorporate the teachings of John Maxwell into its leadership initiatives?
So we worked with the Maxwell team to develop the booklet. We have this booklet here that people go through. It's groups of 6 to 10, and there's 10 values in there. And then the 11th week is how to do your own leadership table. And this is what the Citizen PNG program is built on. And so these values are from Maxwell, but then we made everything so that it is Papua New Guinean. So it comes through our filter, and culture na pasen blomipla na ting ting blomipla. So we partner with John Maxwell Leadership Foundation on the intellectual property, and then we make it to where it fits with us and our culture in Papua New Guinea. And when people go through this 11-week program, they come out a different person because of the conversation that happens around the table. The book is excellent, but it's not a reading book, it's a workbook. And when people do the tables together for 1 hour a week for 11 weeks, when they hear other people talking, it really helps them to understand how to improve their lives. You know, values are caught, they're not taught. You can't force a value on someone. Someone has to decide that they want to change. And through that conversation around the table, that's where people start thinking, oh, this is interesting. I think I would like to have more integrity in my life. Or I would like to be somebody who's a better listener. I would like to be somebody who has more hope. Those are the types of values that people get in the conversation. And when they come out, their expectations of themselves and of others is higher.
To add on into the values itself, there are impact stories that we have heard from people across the country who are engaged in this. And just for the audience information, the program is free. The Citizen PNG is for every individual Papua New Guinean to go through, despite which level of leadership you are under. And so we have people from the corporate space, in the community setting, in the schools, in the government departments, in families, who are doing transformation table sessions and sitting in groups of 4 to 10 and having one value per week for an hour, having those conversations. And the impact of the discussion or the conversation is when you put the values into action. Most of the time we talk about these values and we don't really put it into action. You know, you may just talk, mouse water, nothing, that's all. So when groups of people sit together and talk about the value of hope, they talk about an action that what they can commit to within the week, and they try to put those values into action, or value of hope into action, and give the response the following week. So that's the process, and it goes on for 11 weeks. So throughout that 11 weeks period, people start to experience the change and the shift of the way they think about treating their husband or treating their wives or their children at home or in the work or in the school. And some of the examples of some impact stories that I can share is at the corporate space, you know, you have a manager who doesn't really understand its team members or have that one-on-one conversation. The group discussion allows the managers to be more closer to their team members and understand them and really know who they are coming from their background. And another an example would be in the corporate space, you know, you miss a talk lo PNG and come in low on time blue low walk. We just clock in any time of the day, even if we're working in the government department. We're not really time cautious. So sometimes we have to hold ourselves accountable with, you know, the time that we give to the company or the organization. So having these values or having the conversation on integrity, commitment, helps them to, you know, give their time to the organization or company and be honest in what they're doing and transparent with their action at work. So yeah, that's like in the corporate space. And then you have in the schools where we had just we just graduated 900 plus students from Marineville secondary schools, and these are young women who will become leaders and mothers in the near future. And some of them share that, you know, they were not really committed in doing their homework, and so the values have really helped them to be consistent in doing their homework, because that's what their responsibility or their commitment that they need to do. And then you have, like, in families where roundtable discussions are happening, and the children, you know, parents are working very hard, and they come home and they don't really spend time with their children. So that conversation of round table just really bring the family together to talk and discuss these values. So in a society that we find ourselves that values are dying or are fading away, we need to start talking, having this conversation, and to bring back our people, to bring back our nation. And that's what we are really all for the country.
Now, GT, you've recently hosted the Life to Lead conference. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, Live to Lead is an annual conference we do. This was our third one. They've all sold out. And Live to Lead is where everybody gets together and focuses. Here's some amazing speakers. I mean, we had some great speakers this year. For Sir Arnold Emmett, who is just a legend. Former Chief Justice and also former governor and now current ambassador to the U.S. We had Carol Maha, who is the country director for New Porgera Limited, former First Lady Linda Babao, and we have, the current Miss PNG, who's 19 and an incredible speaker already. So it's a day for people to get together and hear from some very interesting people and to broaden their horizons on their thoughts. Because how big we think, I'm a pilot, and we often say that your attitude determines your altitude. And that's the true with life. So when we get together at Live to Lead and we have great speakers in the room, people get to improve their attitude and broaden their horizons. So it's great value to the people who come to the room, but it's also a fundraiser for Tribal because it helps us raise funds so that we can afford to give these books to people around the country where they can go ahead and do their own Citizen PNG program, and also for the people that we work with on our Citizen Passion program, especially victims of SARV.
Now, GT, how can the community support your foundation?
They can get involved by doing the Citizen PNG program. Then we also have the film that we come out into communities and schools and churches and organizations and do the program for Citizen Passion with them. If people are interested in investing in Papua New Guinea as far as helping to change mindset and those kind of things, then they can donate to the organization. There's lots of ways to get involved. People can follow us on our social media. We're on all of the platforms, PNG Tribal Foundation and Citizen Passion and Citizen PNG. We love to get people involved because oftentimes we find that people want to do something to improve the nation, but they don't really know what to do. And these are two ways that they can get involved. So we made these tools to give away so that other people can use them in their own areas of influence. Maybe it's their netball team, or maybe it's their school group, or maybe it's their work group, or whatever it is, where they can say, I want to be a champion for transformation. And then Tribal Foundation will equip them to do that in their own space.
Before we go, we look at some of the highlights from the recently held Life to Lead conference, hosted by the PNG Tribal Foundation.
This is on leadership, folks. In my experience, is about relationships. Leadership matters because, as John has taught us so many times, everything rises and falls on leadership. Good leadership or bad leadership. That history is full of examples of those. As we speak today, the whole world is dealing with global geopolitical leadership issues. Our nation, we've just had some by-elections. Next year, you're all going to be casting votes. I will, in the US as well, electing our leaders, because leadership matters. Leadership is everybody's business. That's why you and I are here. Credibility is the leader's capital. Credibility, what kind of a leader are we? Are you credible? Or are you a bit of a wishy-washy? It's not positional. Sure, we occupy positions like I have, but more than the position, it's the credibility of your character. What kind of a person are you when people aren't around? I've used the other word for credibility, synonymous with credibility, is integrity. Integrity speaks of honesty, trustworthiness, reliability, and I love this. Integrity is who you are when no one's looking.
GT Boston and Philly Julie Morai, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Well, viewers, that ends this episode of In Focus. Do join us again next week, Monday, on our regular time slot of 7 p.m. Till then, bye for now.
This program was proudly brought to you by Daytech PNG Limited.